Chef Marissa Riffle. Today we're going to take a look at the internet range of 2-ingredient dough and see if it does really work. Like I just said, 2 ingredients. The first ingredient we have is self-rising flour. We're going to put that in our bowl. The second ingredient I have is Greek yogurt, plain. Please make sure it is plain Greek yogurt. Otherwise you are going to have some unusual tasting dough, which I don't think you want to do. All we're going to do is we're going to mix the two together till it forms like a crumble. Nice big crumbles. Now, I bet you've already asked yourself, great, Chef, you told me to get self-rising flour. I don't have self-rising flour at home. Not a problem. Take a cup of all-purpose flour, or if you want to go with a healthier take on it, use whole wheat flour. Cup of flour, teaspoon and a half of baking powder, and a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and guess what you have? You mix them together, you have self-rising dough. All right, see how nice and crumbly that is? Now we're going to put a little extra flour on our table that we're working on, because this dough, because I tricked you, I've already worked with it, is going to be a little stickier than normal. So when we go to work with it, you want to have that extra flour. Sometimes you're going to have to add a little on the top too. Now, do you have to do this by hand? Can you use your KitchenAid mixer or your mixer that has a dough hook? Absolutely. Can you use your food processor? Yes, you can. I'm going to show you what the dough is supposed to look like if you use either one of those. If you're going to do this like I'm doing right now, if you're going to do it by hand, you're going to want to knead it for 8 minutes. But guess what? We're not going to sit here for 8 minutes and watch Chef knead the dough. I'm going to give you a clue of what it's going to look like. I will teach you a couple tricks when you're kneading though. So as you finally get it gathered into a ball, all your ingredients, when you knead, you want to use the back of your hand, your palm, press it out, fold it over, go back into a circle again. Fold it over, press it out, and keep repeating that for 8 minutes. Does it sound like a lot of work? It could be. It could be your exercise for the day too if you want. 8 minutes. Isn't 10 minutes the recommendation every day of what you're supposed to do? A minimum? So, now you can see how it's still kind of stretchy and it's not really pulled together. That's because I haven't worked it for the 8 minutes, or I didn't do it in my machine for the amount of time. So we're going to fast forward, and this is what we should look like when we have done it. Kneaded it by hand for 8 minutes, and I would say probably 5 minutes in your KitchenAid, and maybe about the same time in your food processor. So, what am I going to do with this dough? I actually have 3 different things that I can do with this dough today. What I'm going to show you is I'm going to show you some pretzel bites. And I got to go get some hot water, so I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Sorry about that. So what I'm doing right now is I took a tablespoon of baking soda and boiling hot water, and I'm mixing those together because we are going to make pretzel bites right now. Once I do that, I'm going to take a little bit of my dough. Now the amount of dough I have here would probably make 2 really nice sized pizzas, or I could do 1 pizza and some pretzel dough. And the other thing you can make out of this is bagels. Now, is it a traditional bagel that you're used to having? Absolutely not. But it's going to be something that's quick and easy that you can do in your own home, and you just think about it. You made it yourself. So, now I took off I cut the dough in half, and then in that half I took 1/3 of that to make my little log here. Now when you see me rolling, watch how I roll it. See how my fingers go out and in? Because I want to try to get this as even as possible. Because if I have a giant piece of dough in the center and it's really thin on the side, then nothing is going to cook evenly. So you want to make sure that you're moving your hands in and out, your fingers, and rolling it back and forth. And then if you get a little short on the end, just push it in. And then all we're going to do, this is what we call a bench scraper. Some of you may have this at home, some of you may not have it at home. If you don't, you could just use a knife. But you're going to cut it off into equal pieces. And then once you cut that off into equal pieces, that's where your baking soda water is going to come in. You're going to want to drop it in there. And put it on a parchment paper lined sheet tray. If you don't have parchment paper, you could spray your, just make sure you spray your pan. Now I did tell you that there's another item, so we can make a pizza out of this. And a pizza you're just going to roll with a rolling pin and roll it out, or you can press it into a sheet pan and make a sheet pan pizza. We're doing the Pretzel Bites right now. And the third thing you can do, I said, the Bagels, which I know is not really bagels, but it's a way to do it. It's basically the same way as the Pretzel Bites. You're going to roll your dough out till it's nice and thin. And then you're just going to loop it around. And that one you're going to brush with an egg wash and then put your favorite topping on there. Mine happens to be an everything topping. All right, so now we've put the dropped our pretzel bites in the baking soda water. We're going to brush it with a little melted butter. Like so. Now, I have some sea salt because I didn't have any pretzel salt. So the sea salt is a little bit bigger than I like, so I'm just going to make sure I don't put too much on there. Just a couple pieces. Unless you like your salty pretzels, then that's up to you. That's it. We're going to put them in a 400-degree oven for about, I'd say about 7 minutes. And this is what you're going to get when they come out. And if you make bagels, I made little tiny ones, you're going to get that. And if you make a pizza, you are going to get that. So, what did we prove? The internet rage is true. This is a great, quick pizza dough that you can make, bagel dough, pretzel bite dough, or anything else you can think of. I hope you enjoyed.